Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and appreciate you guys checking us on out as Heat Nation is abuzz with fodder season and everything that's going on, awaiting the details of Jimmy Butler. But there was some good news. People sticking around, dude. People sticking around. So the first thing, I got to tell you, I don't recall seeing any report like this. It's fascinating to see the business of NBA coaching getting out there publicly. And it is kind of an agent game because the agents want to, pat themselves on the back, a job well done. But Caron Butler, it was reported today by Woj, he broke the news that Caron Butler had signed a new 4-year contract with the Miami Heat to remain on the staff, which, it was kind of an interesting thing to have out there. Because I don't feel like you do normally see, hey, such and such assistant coach has signed this many years according to his agent. I've seen, guys have been added to staff, obviously, like that, but I've never seen it, boom, for an assistant coach. Now, mind you, Caron Butler, former All-Star, has himself an NBA resume, so maybe that's why it hit a little bit and flourished a little bit. Why that was a headline? I don't know. I don't really get into the nitty gritty of it, but it was reported that Caron Butler has agreed to a new 4-year deal to remain on Erik Spoelstra's staff. Butler's attorney Raymond Brothers tells ESPN, 16-year veteran, he has been a Heat assistant for the last 4 years. Does a marvelous job. I remember talking to him last year. He was the summer league coach last year with Nico, with Jaime. Raved about them then. And had also said, his goal is to be a head coach. I have found it crazy that the Miami Heat staff that Erik Spoelstra has put together does not get more love. But it was then reported by Tim Reynolds of the Associated Press. He commented on the Woj tweet and he says, can confirm this is correct. And per 2 sources, the Heat are also moving towards new contracts for Chris Quinn and Malik Allen as well. He adds those talks are continuing, but per one of the sources, Erik Spoelstra has made it clear to his staff that he wants the group to remain together. Now, possible that Chris Quinn is not signing yet because he is hoping that he may still get some opportunity to be a head coach. I have only seen him kind of linked to the Lakers. And even Udonis hasn't put it out there. He's like, maybe your name's just out there because it's out there just to kind of sound, but you know who they want. And we all know who the Lakers want. The Lakers want to hire J.J. Redick. It's very, very clear that's the direction. I mean, the crazy thing is that they're putting this, maybe J.J. Redick will be an amazing coach, right? I don't know. But the idea that the Lakers are enamored with him and think that he has a Pat Riley, I think they said a Pat Riley-like charisma to his to him, I'm just like, okay, sure. What else? What can't J.J. Redick do? He apparently can do it all. And, I think it's a bummer for somebody like Chris Quinn where he doesn't get that respect. And I don't know what it is about the Erik Spoelstra staff that doesn't. Now, very clearly, it appears the Heat are taking care of their staff. I don't know what the numbers are, but we know that the Heat invested a ton of money. Spo just got, an 8-year deal, was it, this year? Just got a tremendous extension from the organization. So if you're saying through half that Caron Butler is signed up for, I'd imagine that, Chris Quinn and Malik Allen, I would guess, are probably going to be in that range as well. Maybe the thought is, look, this dude ain't getting fired. You want job security. You want to be well taken care of. And until the right opportunity comes along, I ain't leaving. But it is odd. We had seen in the past with a guy like Dan Craig where he had left. He had gone to Ty Lue's staff and in hopes that, maybe he'd get a little bit more up because the shadow of Erik Spoelstra was too great. And I imagine it is a hard situation when but it's weird to me that in every other walk of coaching, usually the members of the staff, the high-ranking members of the staff who are with Spo and run a lot of what Spo is doing and, are right there in the right there on the court developing these players that everybody raves about, these Heat stories. These are the guys who have their hands on it. That they just don't get more of a look. It's weird to me, dude. It's just strange because Celtics, Brad Stevens' tree has gotten looks. People on Budenholzer's staff, we've seen Greg Popovich coaches. Budenholzer was part of the other looks. Why don't Spo's guys get more looks? It's strange. Guys with NBA experience, these guys played in the league. Yes, they're Heat culture guys, fine. And, people will shoot back at me and they'll say, well, David Fizdale didn't work out. And we'll remind you, it wasn't like David Fizdale was a disaster immediately. It did not have a good relationship with Marc Gasol. That kind of doomed him. And then, yes, flamed out in New York with the Knicks. Who hasn't? And that was 10 years ago, dude. 10 years is the last time somebody from Erik Spoelstra's bench got hired to be a head coach. It's strange to me that is the case. And I don't know if the mood around the league is it's just that the Heat are too harbored in their own stuff and that they don't know if you could translate that to the other organizations because they won't have the stability, the belief that the Arisons do in their coaches. It's hard to say. But either way, listen, congratulations to Caron Butler. Well-deserved. Awesome individual on top of being a really great coach. And everybody says Chris Quinn is deserving of being a head coach within the organization. Jimmy Butler has said as much. Malik Allen has, done a great job with Bam Adebayo, does a great job coaching the Heat bigs. Keeping a lot of those guys who he's got to keep ready to say, hey, who's the guy that I really trust here to be ready with Erik Spoelstra. So I don't know, man. It's a strange thing to see that the Miami Heat now perhaps something will go awry. Maybe the Cavs job. I think the Wizards job went to somebody today. I think they hired from within, which oddly I think UD said that he thought that would have been the best job to get because it's like a clean slate. But they're going from within. No big hire there. And then the Cavs job. It's I don't know how much you would love that, although, I'm sure Max Strus would give, I would guess that Max Strus would give the endorsement to a Heat guy. Even with the mystery of Donovan Mitchell looming over the organization with everything that they got going on there. But I don't know, man. I just found it, I found great news for Caron Butler. Very, very happy that he is, set up and is going to be here for a few more years or however long he is here before he gets the opportunity he feels like he deserves. But I just can't get this, that you think the flashy name is just going to pan out. And it's not even really just a JJ Redick doesn't know the game. I hear him on the broadcast. He seems particularly fine. I've heard his podcast. JJ Redick's this isn't like he's a good podcaster. He's a good interviewer. He's a little bit over the top on these broadcasts, like a little bit too wine and cheese. But for me, I'm just curious, is it a gravitas thing? You think that you need that kind of grasp because he's going to get talked about in the media by the Lakers, and I do feel like everyone's going to be backing him because he is a media guy, kind of like they do with Steve Kerr. Because Steve Kerr was in that game before, and Steve Kerr, it's interesting because you hear, I hear other reporters. It's fascinating hearing other reporters react to Spo as opposed to they do their coaches who they talk to every day. Because if you got, and what I mean by this is, so before the games, right, every coach will speak. And you talk to the media, and Erik Spoelstra, once in a while, I'd say, you go to, if I cover 20 Heat games, I would say 4 of them, Erik Spoelstra is feeling chatty before a game, and his press conferences will go. I'm saying like a no issues, no real topics that they got to cover, just basketball, right? And Spo will riff, 4 out of 20, right? Maybe even less, to be honest with you. Normally it's like 90 seconds. Here's who's in. Where's their injury? He's progressing is what he'll say. Some question about the night's opponent. Boom, he's out of there and he's ready to meet. And it's noticed by other media from outside because their coaches will come in and they'll like hobnob with them and they have 15 minutes to talk with the coach. The coach is, scheduled to be there for those 15 minutes to talk to the media. So the media is just going to shoot the breeze with the coach and they're going to talk about all the topics of the day. And guys who are good at this, who play the game, and you'll wonder why they get so many chances. Doc Rivers, Steve Kerr, trying to think of a Nick Nurse. These are the guys who are like really good at playing the media, the media game. And I do think that plays into a little bit of why certain guys get so many chances. And I do think it's an important thing of like, how are they going to handle it? Obviously, LA is a big media market. So maybe they feel somebody who comes from the Erik Spoelstra tree is going to be too heat culture-y for that. I don't know. Not as flowery as the podcaster. But I don't know. I keep trying to rack my mind around it. And I have answers, but I don't feel like any of them are good, clear answers as to why that happens. I don't think it's the end-all, be-all of what's getting these guys not hired. But I do, like, you'll hear these road, be like, what's up with Spo? Is he always like that? I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, he is. But it's kind of weird for me because I'm always thinking to myself, like, you guys always this chatty with your coach? Like, hey, how's the weather? Oh, which I don't know what's right or wrong. I'm just there to get the silly answers. I don't really care. But it's interesting. It's definitely noticed by road media the way the reporters interact with Spo as opposed to how they interact with their coach. So I don't know. Maybe that has some trickle-down effect on hiring. I doubt it. But again, I got answers. I don't know what the good ones are. I don't. I'm just trying to figure this out why the Heat coaching staff doesn't get more respect in these interview circles.